What's up, y'all? This is Courtney, and welcome back to Undrunken. And today, welcome to our final episode. When I started this podcast, it came from curiosity, and it was about accountability through consistently showing up, and it was about celebrating that not everyone who dumps the drink is an alcoholic, and that choosing differently doesn't mean your life gets smaller or boring. You know, at first I hoped that this would help maybe one other person, and somewhere along the way it became bigger than I ever imagined. Over 50 stories shared here. Real people, real lives, real experiments and thoughts and choices around alcohol, intention, awareness. You know, the podcast has connected me to people in ways I will always be grateful for. It taught me deep truth about how alcohol impacts our minds and our bodies and our souls. It forever changed my relationship with alcohol. You know, interviewing people and learning what they knew through all different walks of life. It reminds me how powerful it is when we get curious instead of judgmental. Hearing from listeners, your messages, your honesty, your, hey, this helped me. That has been the most gratifying part of this entire journey. And today's interview feels like the most fitting way to close this chapter. I'm going to share Duncan's story, and Duncan is one of my longest known friends. I mean, over 30 years we've known each other. And he's not someone who came to this because alcohol was destroying his life. It was curiosity and intention and maybe a little pressure from me, as we've always challenged each other to be our best selves. And I challenged him to 100 days, and he took the challenge. You know, Duncan's 100-day alcohol-free experiment wasn't about fixing something broken. It was about seeing what was possible when he chose a deliberate direction. This conversation really holds everything this podcast has always stood for. You know, choice, awareness, honesty, and the freedom to design your life on purpose. So, for one last time, let's jump in. Welcome, y'all. This is Nene, and I am here with somebody very, very special today. I don't even know how to begin to introduce him, so I'm just going to do my best. This is one of my longest friends. We met in high school as little punk-ass kids, and he is one of the greatest humans I know, one of the best dads. He is an entrepreneur and just somebody who you're going to find as we're in this conversation, you can't help but get a little excited about life when you're around this person. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Duncan.
Well, that's a great welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm
back
so...
all the way to Newport High School.
Fuck, man. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so excited that you're here. Yeah. And I'm so excited to talk to you about your story. Your daughter did a Valentine's Day episode with me this year, and it was one of my favorite conversations. She definitely has your spirit. And
a little girl.
Yeah. So you are almost to 100 days. Is that correct?
Yeah. Thanksgiving. You know, it's funny. It's exactly. It actually worked out perfect because I actually started before my anniversary. I forget my anniversary. It's like October 19th or something. But
August, but close.
What's that?
August 19th.
19th? Yeah, I was close.
Yeah. You said October, but I won't tell Kim.
Oh, yeah. August 19th. But I actually started a week or so before, and that's when I contacted you saying, oh, you'd be proud. Haven't drank in like a week or something like that. And you're like, well, try 100 days. And I was like, fuck, that sounds terrible, but all right. So then I started, and then we had our, Kim and I decided to go out for a nice dinner for our anniversary, and she wanted to have a drink, but she didn't want to have a drink because she knew that I was trying to not drink, and I was like, no, fuck that, I'll have a drink, just have a drink, it's our anniversary. I don't care. But the funny part is, it's exactly 100 days between our anniversary and Thanksgiving.
Well, with that math, you should never forget your anniversary.
Well, we got. Hmm, yeah, true. But in my defense, we both kind of forget about it, and we always have. Uh, Especially before we got married, our anniversary was sometime late July, and we'd always end up somewhere into early August, and be like, "Son of a bitch, we forgot." But now, as you know, when we got married, the day we were supposed to get married, a hurricane came through and changed that date. And
Yeah. There's a little bit of confusion around
there's
all
all
of
kinds of dates to remember, and I got enough going on. So,
it.
but for what it's worth, we always give it our best. And but yeah, it's exactly 100 days between our anniversary and Thanksgiving. So moving forward, even if I do decide to have a drink after this 100 days, for the rest of my time, I think that's going to be my goal. Is during after my anniversary, I'm going to go all the way till Thanksgiving with no drinks. So, but
I want to get into what's going to happen around Thanksgiving, but first I want to jump into why. Like what got you on this?
what's weird? I don't know. I had somehow, some way on my algorithm, uh, I kept seeing all these people posting, 100 days sober, 150 days sober, 200 days, 5 years sober, and when I see stuff like that, I think to myself, how blessed am I? I never fell into that. Thank God, considering the odds.
Yeah.
And so but then I started thinking, oh, well, I have a Coke and a whiskey almost every night, and most mornings I dump half of it out, so it's nothing much, but I think it's just the act of making the drink and sitting
The
down.
ritual.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, on an average night, I don't even sit down until. Well, I probably don't even sit down until about 8 or 8:30 every night, and probably out by 9:30. But it became a habit, and then I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't drink. Maybe I should try to not drink for a little bit, and then I went a couple nights, and then of doing that, and then I was like, fuck, I really want to drink. This is stupid. I want to fucking drink, and then it reminded me of I smoked for God, how many fucking years was that? I started
30.
when I was 14 and I quit when I was 38, I think. So 24 years of smoking cigarettes, but I was owned by cigarettes. And when I thought about quitting smoking, man, I would want to light up a cigarette just from the stress about it. And I'll never forget like how that had really control of Duncan, and I didn't like that. And so this was just kind of a reminder, once I felt that urge to really drink and to say, yeah, fuck it. I know I decided to not drink for a little bit, but I'm going to crack one open anyways. That didn't sit well. And, I guess from there, I realized that my desire department needs to be shown who's boss. So, and then I told you, then I was bragging to you uh, that I'd gone a week, and you said, go 100 days. And I wasn't expecting to go into 100 days. I know that, but but I was like, all right, well, I'll take the challenge. And so I went 100, decided to go 100 days, and I actually like it. My wife, uh, she's even questioning if I'm even going to drink again after Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't plan on it. I mean, time will tell, but
Yeah.
I feel pretty damn good. I'll tell you that.
It's it's really I love this for so many reasons. First of all, you've always been one of the most intentional people that I know, and that really is kind of the essence of Undrunken, right? It's just being intentional, being thoughtful, right?
Yeah,
And not everybody that I talk with is an addict, but just like you said, right? There's something that happens.
Yeah.
And that 100 days really is, there's a lot of magic to that, neurologically,
Hmm.
physiologically. Um, I love that you guys are questioning whether you're going to again or not. Like, that's super
Hmm.
powerful. What's it done? Like, what have you felt? What have you seen? Like, why are you sitting here going, fuck, I feel pretty damn good.
Yeah. Most notably, as you know, I juggle a lot in just one little day's time, and I think uh, the most that it's done for me is I wake up, I get my boots on, and I'm fucking pumped to hit the ground running. Whereas before, I'd wake up, and I think, and I never would really drink in the evenings. I wouldn't really drink to and start buzzing unless I'm really hanging out with my friends. But towards the end there, when I was drinking, I would start to drink to where I'd buzz, and then I started smoking some weed, and um, I don't know. I just didn't. That wasn't sitting right with me. But either way, I realized that after once I had started all this that um, in wake of not drinking at all, after I probably noticed about 3 or 4 weeks in that my attitude when I wake up is really good in comparison. And I think what was going on before, I was even with one drink, even if it is just one drink, or if I do smoke some weed, or um, and you go to bed like that, even though you feel like you may have slept 8 hours, and I try my best all the time to get a solid 8 hours of sleep, um, but I think you lose that deep sleep. I think that something in the alcohol robs you of the sleep that you should be getting. And I never knew that. I just learned that. But now, and so before, I think before, when I would drink, I would still get my 8 hours of sleep, and I'd be proud of that. All right. Um, but I wake up, and uh, one negative thought turns into a domino effect, like a snowball effect, and it just carries out throughout my day. And I didn't realize that. And then now that I haven't been drinking, every day I wake up, and I'm there. I've got so much shit to do. I think I'm pumped to check off the list so I can get to this. Um, so every morning before I even get out of bed, my brain's already thinking of how to be productive and how to tackle this sooner than later. Um, and that's the biggest thing for me. It's actually huge. I'm far more productive, which is weird because, again, I wasn't a big drinker, um, but I am far more productive now, and I think it's attitude,
Mm.
and also uh, my desire now to always wanting to, like, when I drive now, like in between jobs, I'm racing to get to my next episode. What can I learn today? What can I learn this drive time? I don't like to drive as much as I do, but I got to do it. So now I'm ambitious to really not waste a minute, honestly, and I really like that. And then understanding, uh, our dominant thought process, and understanding that our thoughts it's like a muscle. It's being productive and being focused, which I struggle with. Uh, focus is like a muscle. You got to exercise it, and now more than ever, I'm just pumped to exercise that muscle. I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I I love that this was just a self-driven thing for you,
Hmm.
not something that you were jumping on other than just to see how it would affect your life. So talk to me about, what do you drink now, right? What's your
Water.
ritual?
Well, I do this stupid thing called fasting now. and I've always been a breakfast person, and I decided to stop doing that and fast for, I don't know why. I think I saw it something just came across my algorithm about fasting, and I was like, that makes sense. I should fast for 16 hours or whatever it is, and so then I started doing that. So now in the mornings, I don't drink. All I get is water and coffee with honey, and that's it until I get out of bed about 5 o'clock, and I don't. All I do is drink coffee and water until till lunchtime, till about noon, 12:30, and then.
So that's just so you know, that's actually like an ADD trick. You're putting your body into ketosis, so your brain is sharper.
Brain is sharper from doing so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because think of your stomach as a second brain, right? There's all these neurons, and those are firing, and if they have to work on digesting, then they're not firing as sharp for the things that you want them to.
Well,
And if you're putting alcohol in there,
yeah,
I
it sure is a lot.
I loved. There was a moment early in my journey. So I started with 100 days too.
Mm-hmm.
That was my goal: 100 days of intentional not drinking. And for me, I started interviewing people because I wanted to document the journey. And I just learned too much. And I remember the one that I learned that really got me going, like, ooh, was we are drinking the same thing that they use to sterilize hospitals. We're putting that in our bodies.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's pretty gross.
Poison.
What about the evening times? What do you drink? Just water?
No, every now and then I'll drink an Alani. We got some of those in our refrigerator. I think if I were to pick an energy drink, it'd be that. But other than that, it's just water. And then I'll do afternoon. I'll mix my cup with some powder scoops of either Alani or liquid IV. The no sugar liquid IV. For the longest time, I was doing the sugar ones, but I decided to stop that when I decided to do the fasting. But I never even really questioned what was in it. It was just so fucking good. I'd put it in my cup and drink it. But I'm just now starting to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Here I am, 45 years old, and starting to think about this.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. You know what else happens that really sucks at this age? The necessity for this.
Oh my.
Retarded.
To do that? Are we going to do that?
I went my whole life with 20/10 vision. My whole freaking life, I could eyes of an eagle, and I can still see the doctor said I still got 20/20 vision, but
it's the up close stuff.
Yeah, it's just up close. And I was like, well, if I got 20/20 vision, how come I can't read? She's like, well, because you're old. You need readers. So yeah. Sucks. The funny part is my dad warned me, and he said, "Oh, wait, you just wait. As soon as you turn 43, exactly what happened. Crazy. He nailed it. But yeah, I like it.
So Thanksgiving's coming. You're coming up to this 100 days.
Yeah.
In my experience, a lot of people, the holidays are the hardest time. Right? There's a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
A lot of celebrations, a lot of gatherings. What's kind of, where's your head at with that on the horizon, and how do you plan to navigate that?
Honestly, I don't even recognize it as a challenge. I haven't thought about it. I mean, we're doing Thanksgiving with my family. My brother's in town, or he's leaving town. He stays. Uncle Doug stays here through the summers nowadays, which is awesome. He lives in Austin, but this past few years he comes to Washington and rents a place for 4 or 5 months, but his leaving next week. So we're doing Thanksgiving at my house tomorrow night. So I think on Thanksgiving Day, I mean, I don't know, I'm probably gonna go dirt biking instead anyway. So
Have you, in the past 100 days, because like you said, you're a dirt biker, have
mhm.
you had a lot of offers for drinks?
Every time, yeah.
How do you navigate that? Do you just give them the finger?
No, I tell everybody, no, I got 100 days. They're like, 100 days till what? I said, well, I made a promise to myself that I won't drink for 100 days. And they're like, well, that's stupid. I'm like, well, I know, but I still got to wait 100 days. So,
Yeah.
but honestly, it doesn't faze me at all. Every now and then, I think the only time I think to myself that, man, I really want to drink, honestly, it's randomly in the evening. When I go to sit down on the couch, I'm like, shit. Uh, I'd like to pour one right now, but then I just think of something cooler in life, and the rest is history. I just don't really think about it anymore. So it hasn't been that hard for me.
Yeah.
And again, I'm blessed to say that I've seen it own people. I've seen it destroy people. I've seen it kill people. It's I'm very lucky. I haven't I haven't fallen into that trap of serious alcoholism. I don't know. You remember my youth. I don't know if you call it luck. I call it luck. You wouldn't, or most others wouldn't call it luck. But that trauma I took on at the age of 14, I think, kind of really helped in the alcohol department. Uh, because of that, I never really that accident when I was 14. I never. I don't even think I drank again after that until. Uh,
It was in our 20s. I
yeah, yeah,
If you're
somewhere in the 20s.
willing, I mean, I know you don't share names maybe, but if you're willing, I'd love for you to share that story,
Mm-hmm.
how it affected your youth,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember it you couldn't get your license till you were 18, you had to have a special kind of insurance, and I remember your 21st birthday, I think, being the first time I saw you drink.
Yeah, all this went down before we even met. I was 14.
It was
Uh,
right before we met.
April April 9th, 1994. Yeah, I had a. So as you know, I moved a lot growing up, and I had a bunch of friends out in Redmond, and they were having a party, and but we just recently moved to Bellevue from Redmond, and I really wanted to go to that party. And my daughter's mom, her uh, her nanny's boyfriend had stolen a '76 Camaro, and he needed a place to park it because parents were getting sick of this ugly Camaro being parked in front of their house in Somerset. And I told him he could park in front of my house. I didn't care. I didn't even tell my parents. They didn't even question whose car it was. Um, but one day I wanted to get to a party in Redmond, and I knew that there was that car right there, um, and it sat there for a long time, and I knew he'd forgotten about it, and so the genius that I was, I decided to steal that car and get to that party, and uh, got really fucking drunk, and we got in a really bad accident. About 120 miles an hour, hit a car head on, and five of us in my car, and one guy in the car that we hit, Avondale Road in Redmond. And long story short, he helped us out, and or the guy that I hit head on is the one that helped me out of the car upside down on fire. Took the jaws of life to get the rest of everyone else out. But that, as a result, I later in life I got charged with vehicular assault, drinking and driving without a license, auto car theft, and that haunted me for a long time. And so probably because of that, yeah, that makes sense why I wouldn't drink. Again, all through my youth,
Yeah.
I took a lot of hits from that, but I don't regret any of it. it really shaped the direction I was going to go, because I think without that, I may have been that drunk, that drunk ass. At 14 years old, I could put down a 40 myself, and you remember me in high school? Fuck, I was 140 pounds.
Yeah.
But to be able at that age, be able to put down a 40 by yourself, I think that's pretty impressive. Um, but I certainly wasn't going a direction that was going to be worth bragging about, and I think that, thank God I survived it. Uh, thank God we all survived it, and we can all look back and say, "God damn, what a ride!" Um, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful that happened.
Yeah.
Weird to say, but
Well, I think, having known you most of the time since that, it forced you, right? You had to hustle because you
yeah,
had some pretty freaking gnarly bills
yeah,
and fines and insurance.
yeah,
Like everything was 10 times more expensive. And you were on your own when we were kids.
yeah,
Like you were living on your own
yeah,
when we were 15, 16 years old.
yeah.
And the other thing I can remember, you've always been pretty passionate about people not drinking and driving.
That's a big deal. Well, I'll never forget that. But that's how you go get dead.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Not only that, but you're putting innocent lives around you at risk as well. And I'm just not a fan. It's a lot of people. A lot of people think they're good at drunken driving, and even smoking weed, man. If you're intoxicated, you're intoxicated. You just shouldn't be driving. So yeah, I'm kind of a stiffler on that. I don't like to see that, but people are going to do what they're going to do. But if I can help in any way, shape, or form to talk people otherwise, anytime anytime I have a party at my house, I try to make a strong effort, um, just to entice people to Uber or think about your plans before you come to my house, because I don't want to be responsible
Yeah.
for someone having left my house belligerent and doing something like that. So, and it's not only that, but I mean, dude, I served my time. That it wasn't just limp away from a car that's about to explode. There's uh, the aftermath of that. That carried on a long time. I got for my 18th birthday, I was sued for I think $32,000, and as a result of the accident, I couldn't get my God, what was it? Yeah, I couldn't get my driver's license until I was 18, and then by the time I got 18, I got that letter in the mail that I've been sued. Not only was I sued, I didn't get a chance to even defend myself in court. I had um, an unsatisfied civil court judgment that was entered against me, uh, and because I didn't, all through my youth, I didn't have an address. Right, I lived in a shack in Eastgate, so really no one had a way of tracking down an address for me, and um, but by the time I turned 18, I knew I was able to get my driver's license, and so like any 18-year-old who couldn't get a driver's license, I'm racing to the Department of Licensing to get a license, pumped, and then to find out that I can't because there's an unsatisfied civil court judgment against me, and I couldn't even comprehend that. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? So I had to go do some research and figure out what was going on there. But basically, what happened was the guy that I hit head on, his insurance company was basically waiting for me to turn 18. They wanted their money, right? That caused a lot of ruckus. So the damages to his car and his probably hospital visits and everything that goes along with uh, such an accident. And so I contacted the attorney that had the judgment against me, and I think I actually waited. No, that's what it was. No, I contacted him. The judge that had the judgment against me, or the attorney, and he wouldn't accept anything less than 50% of my income. And at the time, I think I was just transitioning from working from Burger King and then getting into construction at the time, and I was so broke, and I couldn't afford that, and so I decided that he can kiss my ass. I ain't gonna pay that, and I'll just drive without a suspended. I'll just drive with a suspended license for the rest of my life. I didn't care, and uh, and then later I kept getting pulled over, driving while suspended, and all these third degrees, and to the point where the judges in Bellevue Court all knew my name by heart. As soon as I go to court, they're like, "Oh, Mr. Redman, fancy to see you again." And it's just. And then, but the driving while suspended in the first degree, that's what you don't want, because that's a minimum of 10 days in jail. And it was a pain in the ass, man, trying to get through those hoops. And ultimately, I ended up, it would take a long time to explain the story, but what ended up happening was I won by statute of limitations, all said and done. I think by the time I was 22 years old, I decided to fight by the recommendation of Judge Peter Nolt in Redmond. I had explained to him my story, why I was driving without a license. I'm a young dad. I'm framing houses for a living, and I knew I couldn't afford to pay rent and pay child support and pay my bills and pay these all these fees that I've gotten, legal fees, and pay this attorney that wants $30,000 from me. And I'd explained my story to this Peter Nolt guy, which I owe him so much later in life, and that's another story in itself. But he was there to save me again. But he told me, when I explained to him in court, he had said, I've never heard a story like this, and this is a prime example of how our very system puts our people in the dirt. And he told me, he's like, I'm going to give you a 1-year continuance, and you're gonna win this. And he goes, you're gonna fight this, and you're gonna come back in a year's time, and you're gonna give me a success story saying that you got past this. And at that point, I'll drop all the charges. But until then, I'm going to put you to work. But I'm going to tell you what to do. So the work is easy. I'll lay the map out for you. All you got to do is check off the boxes, and which included appealing the judgment, and I did. And then I hired an attorney. We appealed. We've tried to fight it, and then we lost in the district court. And then we appealed that, and then we went up to the next court up. And by the time we explained my story to that judge, he was funny. He had his glasses on. He was reading the paperwork, and just reading the paperwork and going through this. He goes, and we weren't in this courtroom for but fucking 60 seconds. And he's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "How old were you?" And I was like, "I was 14 years old." I was like, "This is stupid. Statute of limitations. And get out of my court." And I looked at my attorney. I'm like, what statute of limitations? And she's like, "Go get your license."
Wow.
No way. So, and it was that day. It was that same very no. When I got my license, and the very same day that I got my license was also the same day that I got approved for a loan to go to flight school. So I was pumped, super pumped. And but ultimately, I got to go back to Judge Peter Nolt and tell him my success story, which was all his doing, because otherwise I was just constantly getting pulled over. I was in fucking court every day, and thank God at the time I worked for Steve Shock Construction, Issaquah, Sammamish, Washington, probably one of the best contractors that exist out there. But I worked for him at the time, and I think he had a pretty troubled youth as well. And he knew what I was going through, and he just he let me come back to work after even though I had to tell him, sometimes 2 times a week, 3 times a week. Fuck, I was in court for civil matters. I was in court uh, um, for custody matters. I had 3 different courts going on. I was in court all the fucking time, and but but yeah, powered through it, and as a result, I'd get PTSD of thinking about drinking. I think
Yeah.
so. Um, it was a big deal. So I never, and even then, when I did start drinking, I knew better. I knew uh, not to let it become problematic, and then I've watched, since then I've watched it, you know, destroy a lot of people. So when I see what you do, I'm really thankful and grateful to see not only the entrepreneurship side, but also the value side of what that does, and it's a win-win. Which thanks for inviting me here. I'm happy to be here to support such a good cause because um, I think it's good. I think AA is not for everybody, and we all suck at life to a certain degree, and it's good to hear. It's good to hear people winning. So,
Did you ever have to go through AA? I mean, through the accident and some of the stuff you had to do, was any sort of treatment or program put on you?
um, yes, I forget what it was though. I had to do. Yes, I did. I had to do that as a juvenile though, and that was so long ago. I don't remember what I had to do, but it was just a requirement, a part of. I think it was a part of my probation. I was on probation till all of my teenage years. I was on probation, and of some of the things that I had to check off was I had to do classes, and then to get my driver's license, I had to have the SR22 high risk insurance, and then, but yeah, I don't think I had to do AA. It was something other than AA. I've never sat down with a group of people and told anyone I've got a problem. Um, I hung out with a lot of people in juvenile detention and talked about it though.
Yeah. Do you
So,
think though, like going through some of that stuff gave you tools that maybe were in your tool bag that you didn't even realize? Because like I did Al-Anon because I grew up with an alcoholic father, right?
yeah.
And so there was a group of us that did Al-Anon, which was or Alateen, sorry, Alateen. Um, and I do think that, program did give me tools. Maybe I forgot them at times, but I'm
Hmm.
just curious if you think that you ever tapped into that.
Um, hmm, I don't know. I mean, I think hard knocks are tools. We all, if you're willing to learn from your mistakes. Um, but yeah, it's been a tool for me. I know that. I try to help others, and it's weird with alcoholics though. Like people that are in deep alcoholism, I won't waste my energy. I'll try here and there. I'll give a little bit of something to try to help people that deep in the hole. But it's all them really. You can help be the light, but beyond that, there's not. It's really hard to help someone that's that deep, as you know. But take the tools that you get and use them. But yes, but I don't think to answer your question, I don't know that beyond that, beyond just trying to help others. But yeah, I don't know.
What what have some of the challenges been over this 100-day journey?
Um, None. Just
Really?
the only challenge is telling Duncan's desired department to fuck off. I'm in charge, but that's important. That's something we all should exercise. We all want instant gratification, and um, and sometimes you just really it's important to get uncomfortable, I think, and I think I enjoy that maybe, but I don't think that I've had many challenges of even even for my brother's birthday. Everyone was doing drinking some champagne, and I didn't even bother me. I was like, whatever, I was
Yeah.
not in. I made
Have
a
you
deal.
tried any of like the non-alcoholic options?
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm. No, no desire.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Interesting.
desire. Not even gonna go there. But
Yeah.
but again, I'm blessed. I've never had a true addiction to alcohol. But yeah, so it's an easy ride for me. I've only I didn't realize that. I will say this: I didn't realize I had a problem. I did have a problem, uh, a very tiny problem, but I didn't recognize it as a problem. It didn't feel like a problem, and it was indeed a small enough problem where I could just be like, okay, uh, let's just stop doing that, right? So, um,
Well, and I think there's a point too, I mean, at least for me, where I just realized, kind of like you were saying, right? I like my life better. Like,
I
I
do
like
too.
me better,
Yeah.
and we've been kind of in the heavy for a little, so I wanna flip the script a little, and I wanna talk about, you mentioned waking up
Mhm.
clear-headed and energetic. What are some of the other unexpected joys that you have found not having alcohol in part of your life?
Mm, a lot. Uh, I just hit the ground running every morning, but dare I say, um, I like with all my business shenanigans going on, and I've always been a big dreamer. You know that about me. I've always wanted more than the hand that I've been dealt, and I like that. But um, I think more so now. Like I've always like I want to skip the whole millionaire part. I want to get to the billionaire status, and I believe I will. I wholeheartedly believe that. Um, I'll give it my all, anyways. But I believe that now more than ever, though. And um, I've planted so many seeds in business all around me, and I'm watching all these seeds start to bloom, and I wake up. I like I was telling my daughter the other night. We're coming home from jujitsu, and and I was like, God, I'm so fucking pumped. And she's like, for what? I was like, I can't wait to go to fucking work. And she's all, what? I was like, I swear to God, I can't wait to get to work tomorrow. And but that's who says that, but I think that is a part of that. Honestly, is attitude and the drinking, even a small little drink. Um, that I think the only way why, or the only reason why that would affect my attitude, you'd probably know, the ins and outs of what alcohol truly does to your system and to your brain and your thought process and everything else that goes along with that. But as far as I understand, it's the attitude, and that man, that's huge. Attitude is everything. And when I wake up, and if I have a negative thought, that can ruin my whole fucking day. Um, I mean, it really can, and it's in business. There's so many things. Sometimes things go south. Like my employee just crashed the van.
Oh,
I laughed in my head. I was like, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, "Are you okay?" It's
yeah,
I shit happens.
right.
Sometimes you step in it. Wipe the fucking shit off and get back to it, right? So, uh, but it's all attitude, and I think that's what I gained out of all this, and I didn't realize that I was having issues in that department. I realized that sometimes my attitude would suck, but I didn't realize why. That is why. That without a doubt, day after day, week after week. I woke up this morning. I got like it's Saturday. My wife is like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" She's like, "It's 5 o'clock." I'm like, I know. I'm getting out of bed. It's I'm ready. I'm pumped. Got shit to do, and but that's it. And I think I didn't, and I've never been much of a drinker, but I think as of recent, I realized that I've putting down some bottles of whiskey, and I've never done that until after 40 years old. I've never polished off an entire bottle in my cabinet by myself, whether it took 10, 15 years, I've never done that. And then after 2020, I remember my makers is that bottle's empty. Baby, next time you go shopping, get another bottle.
Yeah.
And granted, it's not much, but when you drink a little bit every night, and then I didn't really do the math that, since 2020, and I don't know why 2020, it had nothing to do with all the crazy shit that had been going on around us. It's just that point in time in my life, I just decided, I think it was around that time I learned that, man, whiskey and Coke is really good. It was good. I like the taste. I didn't care about getting drunk, but I really liked the taste. And then it became habit to drink, and everything in life
is one of my favorite drinks.
I love it. Yeah, it tastes really good.
You're kind of touching on something, and I wanna unpack it a little bit. You're saying how much you enjoy a whiskey Coke.
Yeah.
You haven't explored any of the non-alcoholic options, and I'm curious if you could have a whiskey Coke without the alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. And there you go. That's a brilliant idea. I mean, that could be $1 billion idea. I actually have thought about because I think I recently recall someone talking about a non-alcoholic beverage that was really good. They actually enjoyed drinking it, and for me, I just the reason why I don't want to get into a non-alcoholic drink is because it suggests there's a problem. So it's kind of the attitude behind it.
How so? Elaborate.
To me, it suggests that there's an alcohol problem. But I don't know why. That's just if I see someone drinking a non-alcoholic drink, I just feel like that they. Well, I'm proud of them. Good for them. They're not drinking, but that's just I think my instinctive thought is that there's been quite a bit of problem in that department.
So I would encourage you to look at that, because I definitely think that's societal programming, and that's part of why I started the podcast.
Yeah. I love that you said that. Yeah. And by the way, that's a big fucking thing, what you just said. So it's all around us. All the noise around this.
For me, a big part of not drinking was there was this fear that I was going to be boring and people weren't going to like me anymore, right? There was all of this, I really believe, social programming about what I thought it meant, and kind of like you, right? Like, oh, it must mean there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, I mean, here I am 2.5 years, people are like, oh, did you wreck a car? Did you get arrested? And I'm like, no. Like, it didn't have its hooks deep in me. It was easy to quit drinking. I just realized I liked my life better. But like you, I tell you what, Duncan, the day they can make a dirty martini non-alcoholic, I want it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the alcohol in my life, because like you, I wake up sharp every day. I wake up, and this is intentional as much as it just kind of happened a little naturally, not having that negative input. I wake up grateful.
Yeah.
I do feel blessed. Like you, I feel blessed that it was easy for me to dump the drink.
Hmm.
Like, I literally was like, "Oh, I'm just not gonna do this." I think maybe I've had once or twice where I'm like, that feeling like, "Fuck, I really wanna drink," right?
Hmm.
Um, but there is a misconception that because we're drinking a non-alcoholic beer, right, there's a problem.
Hmm.
And what I have found over interviewing over 50 people, and just when you don't drink and people find out, more people come out that they don't drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's just a lot of us is like, I want to drink a beer after a mountain bike ride, but I don't want the buzz.
Yeah.
I like cracking, and there's some great non-alcoholic beers. When I first quit drinking 2.5 years ago, there was a handful. Athletic Brewing, probably my favorite at the time. But now everybody's got a non-alcoholic option. There's non-alcoholic ciders, champagne, wine,
Right.
like
Yeah.
all these different things. And I find it beautiful because I love the celebration aspect, the ritual of it. Um,
Hmm.
I will get a non-alcoholic bottle of champagne or even just Martinelli's sometimes as like a celebration, as a treat,
Hmm.
right?
Nice.
It's just I don't want the alcohol. So
Yeah.
I would encourage you to challenge like why you have that conception. Um, Maybe even try them,
Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
and test yourself. Like, is it just the flavor I want, or is it the buzz?
Right.
Why does that whiskey Coke like call to me?
Right.
Um, it's definitely something that I've
Yeah.
enjoyed being curious about with myself.
That is that is interesting. I had the taste thing. It's you're right. I think a week ago I decided I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just pour a small glass, and I still have my stash of all the Coke Zeros down in the fridge. I'm just gonna make a small glass of just Coke Zero, and I sat on the couch and I drink that. I was like, it's just not the same. It's it's the taste. I think it's the taste. I don't know if it's yeah. I don't know. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But so you're right. Yeah, they're my thought behind that is I don't know why I think the way that I think. That's always my life challenge right there by itself. Um, but
I definitely think 20 years ago, when we were at the bars and people were drinking non-alcoholic beers, there was an association that if you were drinking non-alcoholic, you're an alcoholic, right?
mhm,
There was definitely a connection. And
yeah,
um, my ex-boyfriend also quit drinking with me, and he had a big problem with the drinking the non-alcoholic things. In his mind, like you, you're
yeah.
still drinking. And I'm like,
Well,
but
when
there's
I
no
say
alcohol.
yeah, yeah. So when I think about drinking a non-alcoholic beverage, I don't shut down the idea because I fear that people are going to assume that I've got a problem. It has, in fact, I could give a fuck less what anyone would
Right.
think in that regard. To me, it's about. It would almost feel like that I'm drinking this because I have a problem and recognize and I I know there's not a problem, right? So I'm not gonna to me, drinking the non-alcoholic beverage almost is like just saying I got a problem, so I'm going to drink this instead, right? So, but as far as um, some people may or may not want to drink it because they're concerned that what others are going to think if they are drinking that, because it is. I think that is a thing.
It is. And there are some people I've talked to. So there's a couple different things. One, if you're in program, like they absolutely, it's a no-no
Yeah.
because some of them do have a slight, like half percentage of alcohol. But it's also can be triggering. Right.
Hmm.
So people who really truly do have addiction problems, drinking
Hmm.
non-alcoholic things can trigger the desire for alcohol because of the taste. It's kind of like how we associate smells with memories and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
It's the neuroscience behind it is fascinating.
Yeah. Nice.
Um, Have you needed any resources or help? Is there anything that's like kind of supported you through this, or besides your just self initiative?
Nothing. I actually like the challenge. As soon as you said go 100 days, I thought that was dumb, but I was like, and then there's that competitive part in my brain that says, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, and that was the only reason I honestly, I would have only quit for a week. That was my goal. I had zero intentions of going 100 days, but at the time I had no idea that that's why I'm waking up with a shit attitude. I didn't know that that was why. I did recognize, that I was waking up with shitty attitude sometimes, and it was hit or miss. But and I, on every safety meeting, and this dates back to at least 10 years. In my safety meetings with the team at DRC, uh, number one, attitude. That's the number one thing that I will talk about every freaking time is attitude is the most important thing to everything that we do. And um, if you're having a bad, sometimes we wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You're human. Um, but if I go to work and I got that bad attitude, and you just reek of bad attitude, right? Uh, People feel it, and your coworkers don't want to tiptoe around your shit. So I tell my guys all the time, if you have a bad attitude, just recognize it and own it, and just know that we can't change that. You can change that. If you can't change it, go home, because the rest of us don't want to deal with it. So, uh, and that I think we're pretty lucky. No one ever at work really has bad attitude, but that might be because we talk about it a lot. But that's a big deal.
Well, it's a choice,
It
right?
is. It is. It's 100% choice, and you got to recognize it though. And again, that's what is your dominant thought process? Recognizing that, because everything we do is habit. So um, for me, I think I exercise. I try so hard to always think about, especially now. Now that I've just hit the ground running every morning this past 100 days. Um, just that attitude and the desire to just get shit done. Man, I love it. I fucking love it. And I do 100% blame the drinking for the waking up with the bad attitude, because uh, it changed just like that.
That is so powerful and inspiring. And I know I know personally your energy is very contagious. So I want to ask you a couple things. One, you are a sponge when it comes to learning. What are you listening to right now? Like, share with us, like, what are you digesting? Um, have you listened to the Undrunken podcast? Are there other podcasts? Are you reading books? Like, what's going into Duncan? What's your inputs?
Well, my first thing is I try to every day remember that everything around me. This is just what I tell myself. It's all noise. Uh, we live in a really crazy world right now. It's really not that crazy. They make it crazy. It's just too rowdy, and it's actually hard to tune it out. It's just in your face. Um, so that inspires me. Understanding that that inspires me to listen to audios about business, about taxes. I love to listen to. I get bored pretty fast. I can't just listen to just one episode of this anyone person talking business. For episode after episode after episode, I've got to change it up. Um, but I just honestly I don't even pay attention to who it is. Um, it's just sometimes because of the algorithm on YouTube and or Spotify. Spotify is nice because when you're driving, as soon as you get in your car, it turns right on where you left off. I love that. I wish YouTube would do that. And on my steering wheel, I can control uh, if I need to process something, I can go back 10 seconds by the push of a button on my steering wheel. Um, I wish YouTube would do that as well. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't really intentionally try to um, listen to any one thing. I don't wake up thinking, oh, I'm gonna listen to podcasts about taxes today, or I'm gonna listen to a podcast about personal growth, or um, I just I just shuffle until I hear something that just feels good at the time, and that I feel that Duncan needs to hear at the time, and then I just listen to it, um, and if it resonates with me, I'll listen to it 3 times. I uh, sometimes, and I this is funny. This is something I just learned about my own self. Is I've always told myself that it's hard for me to read because I daydream, and I'll start reading, and then my brain will go way over there, and I keep reading, and but I don't realize it that I'm thinking about that shit over there, and then because of that, I've always told myself that that's what I do. Well, I suck at reading um, because I daydream when I read. Well, no, I suck at reading because I tell myself I fucking suck at reading. That's why I suck at reading, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly why. So, same when I listen to things. I'll listen to something that resonates, really well with me, and a lot of it is attitude. Um, right now, dominant thought processes and understanding, like I just said earlier, about focus is a muscle that needs to be exercised. That's just kind of the stuff I'm listening to right now. But if it doesn't, if I'm listening to it and it doesn't really process or doesn't register 100%, I get FOMO, and I got to listen to it again and again and again until it really registers. And I can't just listen to something and repeat it. But if I listen to it enough, I can.
Hmm.
So, um, but yeah, so that getting rid of tuning out the noise and and try to intentionally listen to things that do matter and things that's going to make me better and help me better my life and my family and whatever it is. Just take what I can get, and then sometimes it's not just that. Sometimes it's motocross, dirt bike setup. I'm a dirt bike whore, man. I always have been, and it's crazy. I've been riding dirt bikes for 23 years now, which is now half my life. I've been wet dreaming about dirt bikes all my life. I couldn't get a dirt bike until I was able to afford it. I finally got my first bike at 23, but I can't get enough of it. I'm always, even listening to stuff about that and how better chassis setup or better form or better. That's what I like about dirt biking is it makes you want to be better physically, mentally. It helps play my part. So uh,
Let's dive into I want to talk about the wheel of life, and I want to jump into this because you're talking about choices, and I have an acronym that Andrea and I have come up with for the wheel of life. And so the wheel of life is, the different banks or spokes of your life, right? So our acronym is choices, and I'd love to ask you how being undrunken for this past 100 days has affected each area, and have you give me like a sentence or two. And if we scroll off and have a big long conversation about one of them, that's okay too. How has being undrunken this past 100 days affected your circle, your friends, your family?
I think with my family, uh, with my kid, I'm her hero.
Hmm.
Um, she sees this, and she saw that, I would have a drink every night. Mom has a drink almost every night, and she never sees us drunk, but she knows that we drink. Um, I think that she sees this and is inspired about it, and she's been around when someone would offer me a drink, and she's like, and she she's the first to say nope, uh, and then every now and then, just to talk shit, the she devil will ask me, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I'm gonna go get drunk. I'll be back. I'm gonna have a couple cigarettes and go drink some beers," and and I'm just being sarcastic, just joking, But my daughter, no, you're not.
She's proud of you.
She is, and I see that, and I take pride in that, and um, then it's so funny. I've been a dad twice now, right? I've got it's almost like two different generations of kids.
Yeah.
I was a young father, and Jillian is, who I'm so proud of. Just such a pillar to society. She's just such a good human, and same with Larissa. And just watch, and I'm
Larissa's like half Jilly's age now, right?
yeah, Larissa, Jilly's 26 and Larissa's 12. So,
Yeah.
um, but it's really cool because, and we're lucky. First of all, she's just a good kid, always was. Very not problematic at all, like a lot of teenagers. Just a good human, a good kid, and but there's no handbook to parenting, and you learn a lot. And just to get a complete other chance at it, it's like I parent now way different than what I did then, and that's probably. I think I was a little more of a stiffler to Jilly than what I am Larissa, but Larissa hasn't become a teenager yet either, so she's she's
Well, and you have a partner now, right? I think
that's
that's
right.
a
Yeah,
huge difference
yeah,
is you were a single dad with Jilly for
yeah,
a lot of her life.
right.
Um, and with Larissa, you and her mom are partners in this. And I definitely think I've seen a difference in your parenting just having that versus
Yeah,
having to even fight to be a dad. Like,
yeah,
and I know we've talked about this over the years, but I'm proud of you because you did fight for Jilly. And we were young. I mean, you were 19 when she was born, but you had to fight to be her dad. Whereas with Larissa, I think you got to enjoy the gift of fathership a little bit more.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I'm blessed, and not only that, but um, a real big difference too is, man, she's the best human I know, and that's my kids' parent, which is
Yeah.
awesome. And same with Jillian. So Jilly's so lucky that, and I'm so lucky that I met Kim at that gas station. Yeah, um, but yeah, but they live two completely different lives. Jillian and Larissa. I did, I was just a weekend warrior. I didn't get, uh, I only got Jilly on the weekends. Unlike Larissa, I see her every morning. Um, but but yeah, so yeah, to answer your question though, yeah, Larissa, she sees the benefits out of this at a young age, which she's going to carry. Those are seeds that are planted, right? So, um,
Have you talked with Jilly much about this? Because I know Jilly doesn't really drink a whole lot.
no, she doesn't.
Um, have you talked with her about the fact that you took 100 days off?
Yeah, I told her that Auntie Courtney gave me this stupid idea, and um, uh, and she's like, "Oh, cool, yeah, yeah, she knows about it, but she's not. She's never been a drinker, really.
Yeah.
Um,
She likes to be present.
yeah, yeah, for 100%. Yeah, but yeah, we've talked about it a little bit, but you know, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure she likes to see it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we haven't talked a whole lot about it though.
How has being undrunken affected home? And specifically, we've talked about your family,
Hmm.
but you you've worked really hard to have your home. And is there a different appreciation to being able to even come home?
Mm, I don't think so. I don't. No, I think I've always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think nothing's changed in that regard. As far as drinking versus not drinking, I'm always. I love being home. In fact, I'm talking about doing a 2 week trip to Vietnam for a motorcycle trip. It's like 9 days of dirt biking, and but then you got 2 days of travel there, 2 days of travel back. It's a solid 2 weeks. Kim's telling me, "Oh, you need to do it," because I always say, you've heard it before, do something your future self will thank you for, and I always tell myself, do something future Duncan will thank me for, and I think I think future Duncan would be happy that I didn't turn down going to Vietnam when I got a big group of people that's already going. I should go, but I don't want to be away from my girls for that long. That's a long fucking time. Like I go, like when I go to the cabin by myself after one night, I'm like, where's my family? It's like that. I'm not me without them. It seems. I couldn't imagine going 2 weeks without my family there. I think that'd be hard, um,
And
but
then
yeah,
there's a little part of
yeah.
Duncan that's going in. Oh, it'd
What
be hard. Maybe
what'd you say?
I said I hear the little Duncan going, "Oh, this is going to
Yeah,
be a challenge."
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I'm dirt biking for 9 days.
How has being undrunken affected your friends? Let's go back to circle. Like I know we have a lot of friends in common, and I
Hmm.
know alcohol is a part of gatherings and dirt biking and mountain biking and everything. Like, how has that affected your friends?
Um, it hasn't.
Yeah.
They 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 can put down the drinks. Um, yeah, I don't think it has at all. Like yesterday, Robert asked if I wanted a Coors, but he still asked me if I want a cigarette, right? So, which I do. The answer is yes.
Yes
Uh,
and no, thank you.
yeah, it's funny. I've got zero desire to smoke again, but every now and then I'm like, God damn, that looks good. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but um, if I think if I knew that I would be healthy no matter what, and it wasn't going to have a negative effect on my life, I would probably smoke.
Mm,
I didn't quit. I didn't quit because I didn't like smoking. I really enjoyed being a smoker back then, but I just knew that I want to be around a lot longer. So, but yeah, but when I see my friends when we go dirt biking, yeah, like yesterday, we went and we did almost 50 miles out in Eastern Washington on the dirt bikes, and it was a tough 50 miles. At the end, I was fucking pooped. And Robert busts open the cold Coors, and man, it looks so good. Uh, of
yeah.
course, you want a beer? Yes, yes, Robert, I want a beer. But
So
uh,
what I mean, and in that moment, for me, like
mhm,
my thing post mountain bike ride is I love what is it, Spindrift or like Death Water, just real cold. And that
mhm,
crack in that can, there's something about the sound and the cold, and it hits you. I mean, it's just
mhm.
it feels like a reward after a hard ride. Um, I mean, is there anything that is doing that for you, or are you just like nope and drinking your water?
Just my water.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, that's all I drink when I ride is just water. Um, Actually, one thing that I find very soothing, I don't know, this is weird. I don't know why. But um, chocolate milk after a grueling ride, there's something in it there's a health benefit to it. I swear to God. It's, I don't know what it is. Maybe my body's depleted of something, and that was like the fastest cure to that exhausted. Once you get back to the truck and you just there's no juice left. For whatever reason, a little thing of chocolate milk, cold chocolate milk, is
Yeah.
awesome.
Have
But
Have you been around a group of drunk people since you've not been drinking?
yeah, yeah.
What was that like?
Um,
I mean, because you've done that a lot over the years, but not as an adult.
it's the same, honestly, because even if I'm a drinker, they're drunk and I'm not.
Yeah,
So nothing really changed
yeah.
in that respect. There's and I love my drinking friends, man. They can put it down, and they're, you know, they are redneck. There's nothing wrong. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with an earned buzz every now and then. So whether it be
Oh,
alcohol or smoking some weed, we all grind, and I think we all kind of earn it. But the what when it becomes problematic,
right.
which is really why I support what you're doing here, is that it's so easy for all of this to become problematic and
Well, and I would say, and I apologize for interrupting, but it's not just when it becomes problematic, right? There are people like you and I who just want more.
yeah,
And being intentional in life, like it doesn't bother me to be around my friends drinking. Sometimes I get annoyed with drunk people,
yeah,
but I mean that that happened even when I was a drinker. And
yeah,
I really wanted to create a space to be curious about it without that
hmm,
judgment, right?
yeah, right,
Um, Now when I look at people who can, like you said, wow, kudos to you. It doesn't fuck with your life and you can put it
hmm,
away. I wonder though, I'm curious, like, what would happen if they put the bottle down?
yeah,
Fucking cool would their life be if they can handle that and
hmm,
still do all this awesome stuff? Kind of like
right,
you, right?
yeah,
Like, you've gone from fucking awesome to like extra awesome, right? Like,
hmm,
that's pretty fucking cool.
yeah,
Um, and that's where I really think the magic is that reflection and that intention. And that
yeah.
I hear so much of that, always have in you. Um, you talked about, and I want to ask, like, so how has Undrunken being affected your occupation?
Hmm.
You mentioned you're excited. I can't wait to go to work tomorrow.
Fucking pumped
Yeah.
every fucking day. Just I'm ready. Yeah, and that's I have a hard job, so to say that is it's but now it's different. It's just different. So, uh, but yeah, it's true. I'm pumped every day. I'm ready to kick some ass. So, uh,
How has being undrunken affected your identity?
hmm, no clue. No clue. I don't think I care.
I mean, you mentioned you feel like you have a better attitude.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that and how I think it's also how I treat others too. Uh,
Mm.
I think it's helped quite a bit in that department as well. But that all goes with attitude. You're not gonna um, if you just fighting all these demons in your own self in a day's time. It's exhausting to, dude. Good job, you fucking killed it on those stairs. Or just whatever it may be. It's so that plays a part too. So
How has not drinking affected your companionship, your relationship with your wife?
I don't. I don't know. God, I love her so fucking much. Nothing's really changed in that respect. I think, she drinks. She definitely drinks a lot less. I think because I'm drinking a lot less. Um, but I don't think it's really changed much. It's every day I come home, I'm proud that that's my wife. It's
Yeah.
just, how lucky did I get?
Yeah. You guys have an amazing connection, and I would say that that's in all ways that I could be aware of. Um, you know,
Let's talk about her for a second. I don't think she's human. Like she, there's no human like her. There really isn't. She's got like I have never in my life seen anyone with the work ethic that she's got, and her ability to do what she does and just check off the list. Like I can't do and stay focused on all of this right here, and then just completely go from that to this, and then from that to this, and then from that to this. I've got to acclimate into this shit. I can't just change like that. She's got superpowers that people don't have. She's
yeah.
impressive as hell. But that's not just work, just everything. Just uh,
Who she is and how she chooses to move through the world she's a beautiful human.
I can't believe I got her. I can't believe she's my wife. And I found her at a gas station at that. That's the and
Well,
she.
kudos for you for saying something.
We're both lucky, but and more important than that, my kids are God, they're so lucky to have such an awesome mom. It's pretty cool to like. I remember, I don't know what it was. Well, for me growing up, and probably for you growing up, and for almost everybody growing up. Sometimes our moms and dads would fight like crazy, man. My parents seemed like they only stayed together for as long as they did is because they hated each other, I think. I don't know why. But my parents fought all the time. Fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, just, uh, I don't know why, but my 12-year-old has never seen me fight with her mom. That's
Right.
awesome. That is so awesome. I love that. And yeah, she's just such an awesome human, and she's on board too with the whole the not drinking thing, and she drinks a lot less now, and uh, well, not that she drank a lot before to begin with,
Yeah.
but yeah, she's. But I don't think not drinking has really helped or done really any major benefits to our
Yeah.
relationship. I think we're sitting just as good as we were in our relationship as what we were before. She did just have hip surgery. She probably wants to drink now more than anything. Um, but yeah,
Um, what about your estate? Money? Like, it's interesting because you've talked about, like, you didn't realize you were drinking every night and how that added up and you finished bottles and stuff. Have you noticed any monetary change or how you change money? You mentioned you wanna skip millionaire and go to billionaire. Is that new? Is that a mindset that's shifted being undrunken?
yeah, maybe a little. I as far like I said, and I've always been a big dreamer, and before when I would think of um, that status and being able to make it a billionaire status, uh, like you and like everyone else, your dominant thought is going to go straight to fear. I don't and doubt. I don't think I can do that, right? And I've always kind of had that lingering in the back of my brain, but I don't think that now. I really don't. I know without a doubt. We're going.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. What really helped plant that seed. Um, my buddy Derek, this fucker, uh, he's got this fucking yacht, and and I've been out on it twice now in the past couple of years, or a couple times in the past couple of years for Seafair, and that helped change the my whole thought process as well. and I want a fucking yacht, and I also want. At first, it was an airplane, and I will. I'm going to have an airplane. I want to be able to have a plane to go between properties, but I'm not sure if you've been. Have you been on a yacht before, like 60 foot, just out where you could? There's something about that. Just to be, we probably live in the best spot in the world to be a yacht owner.
100%.
But dear God, are they expensive? Probably not too expensive to achieve, but the monthly payments that you're going to have on top of that, just for the fuel that you're going to spend and the
Fuel,
rent to park it,
insurance,
and
mortgage. You got to
uh,
have a captain. You got to have a crew.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want just a little yacht. I want a fucking yacht I can land a helicopter on. And that's um, I'm just as human as Elon Musk. So are you. By the way, say what you will, people hate that dude, but that guy was just like me one day, and just as broke, and same kind of family. Didn't
Set
uh,
an intention, though. Dreamt
he
big.
is an alien. How he does what he does and juggles what he juggles um, is just mind blowing. SpaceX, and I'm fascinated by by humans like that. So when I think of that and people like that and what they do to get where they're at, um, uh, it's grind from the second you get up till the second you go to bed, right? And
Earlier you said 9 to 5, and the magic's what happens after 5. I
yeah,
immediately thought, I was like, I don't work 9 to 5. I'm more like 5 to 9, right? Like,
yeah,
I wake up early and I'm like, hustle, 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 until it's almost like there's something that happens around like that 8:30, 9 o'clock, that, like,
mhm,
for me is just like, all right, now it's time to chill.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so since I've stopped drinking, though, the attitude, and actually the believing Duncan that we're doing this, I believe it. I believe it now more than ever. I truly do, and I absolutely know in my heart we're going to make it there. If we don't, well, it's because I fucking died or something. So I don't know. But
I think
um,
you've got what it takes, because you not only have the conviction and the dream, but you're also you're coachable, right? And you're willing to make yourself uncomfortable. Like, you put yourself out there and you talk to people and you're willing to go, huh, and think about things. You're willing to admit when you're wrong.
mm,
You're willing to admit when somebody else is right. Like, these are important things, and
mhm,
all of it, really, a lot of it comes down to, Duncan, like, you are led by heart and intention, not ego, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
thank
It
you.
it shines through your life and how you love your family. And I mean, you're talking about, you don't want to go on a fucking badass vacation because you're going to miss your wife and kids. Like, I love that.
That's a long time. 2 weeks is a long time.
um, so when we look at the acronym of choices in the wheel of life, the last one is S. So spirituality. How has being undrunken affected spirituality for you? Has it changed at all?
That's a good question. I don't know. Um, I think I've always been pretty spiritual. Of course, my mom was a minister growing up, so I had no choice but to hear about all that. But I will say this: I don't. My church is in the woods,
Dirt church.
mixing gas and hauling ass. But um, I think on a spiritual level, while I'm not too religious, and I'm glad my kids kind of are. Not that they're religious, but they're open minded to it. Without my doing. But I do look up every day and say thank you, and I could just the gratitude. Like when I take my dog out for a walk, I just make sure that there's a moment where uh, I'm not giving any shits about whatever messages I got coming into my phone and all the ruckus around me. I stop and I look up and I look around me and just feel the gratitude. Um, and I like to touch earth at the same time, whether I'm leaning on a tree or, but I probably safe to say I'm a pretty spiritual person, but without being religious, I guess I don't really. I definitely don't go to church, but I believe in God, right? I, I believe we're here for a purpose. I believe, uh, yeah, I'm very blessed to be here, and I know I'm here for a reason, and what that reason is just unfolds every day. So just by me being me. So I think just kind of keep being myself, keep running the course, keep giving life my all, and try to help others around me, and be the best dad that I can be, and the best husband I can be, and the best me that I can be. And but as far as that changing from not drinking, I don't think that's affected anything. I think that's always been a part of me. So the sure, the not drinking definitely helps. Just again because it comes down to attitude and having just a better daily attitude, and most importantly, like I said already many times, just the first thought of the day when I open my eyes. Uh, that probably helps, and because of that, that is a direct result, I think, of the lack of drinking. Um, but it's weird because I wasn't like again. I've never been much of a big drinker, and then even prior to 2020, I wasn't drinking then, but I still had. I don't remember this change in my thought process, or I don't remember acclimating to negative thoughts when I wake up in the morning. I don't remember. I don't know how that happened, but I do know how it stopped, and it is. I'm convinced because from not drinking right before bed. Because the only time I drink would be right before bed, and that has to be and that has to be even if it's just a half a shot of whiskey. I think that half a shot of whiskey directly affects the sleep, the real sleep that I get. Um,
It does.
that little
That's
bit,
scientifically correct.
that little fucking bit is a lot. So, yeah. With that said, thank you. I didn't think I had a problem. So, uh, but I was like I said, right around that time, I was probably smoking more weed than I had been in quite some time as well, and
So you quit drinking and smoking weed.
everything.
That's right.
No buzz.
Yeah.
And I challenge you. I challenge everyone to try it. No buzz. Nothing that alters your brain and your thought
Except for
process.
caffeine.
Caffeine. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'll do caffeine for 100 days.
Woo! Dude.
No, and you're doing it with me because you brought it up. So I'm
telling you, I've done that experiment and I did not like the result.
Yeah. What can replace it? What can replace the caffeine?
So there's a few things that I have tried. One thing that I did think kind of helped was cold shower, right? So in the morning you take your shower and then at the end, right? Because you're essentially trying to hack your brain, right?
Yeah.
And that cold and that rush that creates this dopamine rush, right? Which essentially is kind of what caffeine does, is it creates this, rush. But here's the thing, right? So without question, you and I are very neurodivergent, very spicy brained. That's why when we're reading, our brains can actually continue reading and have a movie going on somewhere else. else,
Yeah.
right? That's why it's hard for us to transition tasks and all of those things. Caffeine helps that. Caffeine's also a painkiller, right? Like, so there is so much to caffeine. And I will tell you, my doctor was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, I would rather you drink high quality coffee than be forcing yourself and stressing yourself out. Like, you don't, as long as you're, again, this is where that awareness, right? Are you drinking a pot of coffee? Is it excess? Are you a complete asshole if you don't have it? Right? Those things weren't true for me. So again, I'm like, well, maybe I don't have a problem with caffeine. I just really like who I am with it. And that's just that curiosity and that exploration. Um, so
I like what you said though. Oh God, it sounds terrible. Joe Rogan does this all the time. And that's another person I like. I fucking love that a lot of people hate. But the cold plunge thing. Uh, and there seems to be a lot of pros
there
about doing
is
that.
there's a lot of benefits. So there's,
Yeah.
there's degrees of it, right? So I actually learned this year that cold plunges are really bad. So
Really?
because I have so much trauma and in my past, when I do a cold plunge, it actually sends my body into a very bad state.
Oh, really?
The work for me is actually the opposite, right? The work for
Oh,
me is teaching my body it's safe and you can relax, right? So
yeah.
that's why I'm working on getting a hot tub. But a cold rinse in the shower, not that complete plunge with the ice, right? But that cold that just kind of shocks you a little bit. That is where I found, but that's what works for me. And that's what this is all about, Duncan, right? There is no one path. There is no one right way. There is a middle path. It doesn't have to be this or that. It can be your path. And so, with that, what motivated me the most that caffeine was something I wanted to challenge myself was I had to give it up for a liver cleanse that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
The headache,
Hmm.
the withdrawal made me go, oh, kind of. I mean, this is again, you and I are very
Mm-hmm.
thoughtful, reflective people.
Right.
That symptomatic withdrawal, 100 times harder
Yeah.
than alcohol. Is there anything else before we wrap up here that you want to share about your journey, your 100 days no alcohol?
No, I don't think so. I like to challenge others to do it. I think it's um, I definitely think it's a good idea to challenge yourself often and get uncomfortable. I think that's I think as humans, we're not designed to be comfortable. I think comfort is a very dangerous thing. Um, so it's good practice. Even if whether you're a big drinker or a little drinker, if you're a small drinker like I was, I got big gains. So I can't imagine how big of a deal it would be if you're a big drinker, right? So, um, but don't just do the weed or the drink. Do the weed too. Stop it all. Because I can't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was the weed or the alcohol. Honestly, I no, I can't say that because I was never. I haven't up until recently. I haven't been much of a pot smoker.
Yeah.
But as of recent, around the time that I quit, I think I had 4 different strands of weed in my garage. That
Okay, that's weird.
I was all
You
getting all excited to
always.
trying different ones. Like, oh yeah, that's good. Kind of like fucking wine tasters. Um, but
I'm laughing because that I've never known that part of you.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you've
I
always
had
been more, no, I don't want to smoke weed because it's going to make me stay up, or that like it's
yeah.
never been a big part of your life.
No, yeah, that's because like when I smoke weed, my brain goes faster than what it already does, and I'll toss and turn until 2 a.m. But anymore though, I mean, I'm sleeping at night. I sleep every night. I sleep really good every night. So I bet you I could smoke relatively close to going to bed and get some sleep. I think. I don't know.
Maybe something to experiment.
Later.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Duncan, I know people are going to relate to this. I know people are going to want to see what you're up to. Where can people find you? Um, Share all the things because you've got an amazing company that you've owned for a long time, and you've got a moto brand that you've been building, and you're doing amazing things. Where can people find you? How can we see what's going on in your world?
Well, I suck at marketing, only because I say that, obviously. But as far as the construction side, I've owned DR Construction for 20 years in June. Just it's a long time.
And are you on Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook?
we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, drconstructiongroup.com. We just started a new website, so it's kind of needs some help. We're getting there though. For the first time in it's kind of weird. I've never done marketing. I've never been much for marketing for the construction company, and I think I've been in the game long enough to where my phone rings for free now. But I got ambitious to do some marketing, and as of 2 years ago, and I certainly played my cards wrong. It cost me well over 6 digits that I just fucking threw away. But that's a discussion in itself. But either way, we're starting all over. New webpage, drconstructiongroup.com. On social media, I don't know. I'm D-Man, Redman, obviously on Facebook. My dad's name is Duncan, so I had to be D-Man. My motocross brand, which is Revneck Racing, that's you can find us at revneckracing.com. You can even spell it wrong, REVNECK, or the real name is REVNEK. We make apparel for off-road racing, motocross boots, motocross jerseys, swag, hats, all kinds of stuff that you've actually, this is from you. You got me this, so you do all my t-shirts and hoodies and stuff. On socials, at Revneck Racing on both Facebook and Instagram. I did start a Revneck YouTube. Yeah, so that's
You got a couple things going on.
yeah, a little bit. Um, Revneck, that you've actually helped me. You've helped me with everything in my life, dating back 20 years ago to DR Construction, and thank you for that. Your friendship you were a professional before I was a professional. That was for sure. As far as in the world of being a professional, but but uh, but since then, with DR Construction and Revneck Racing, all that you've helped me and such, I can't thank you enough. So much more to build.
Duncan, I love you, and that doesn't feel like enough. You know,
Well, likewise.
there's nobody in my life that makes my heart smile as much as you and your girls do. Like somebody can just say your name or Kim or Jilly and my heart smiles. And I absolutely cherish being in each other's lives. And I'm so, so grateful that you came and shared your story, and you were so just completely candid and open. I know this is going to touch somebody and inspire somebody to even just try 100 days, see what it does. So thank you.
You bet. Well, we're all human, so just strive to be better, right? So that's my goal. So anyone can do it, and it's you started it. So I'm glad that you've done this. Not only just because I think it just really adds value to those who might be in a dark place and to those who might be in need, but for your personal growth. I think I've known you long enough to know that this is a big deal for you, and I want to see you grow into the person that you want to be and that you dream to be. And I know that you can do it too. And starting something like this, I know isn't easy, but it doesn't start without doing. You got to the slogan "Just do it" was the best slogan ever, right? So if you have a good idea, execute it. Don't just put it off. And so many people do. So many people are big dreamers too, I think, and they think big and they want big, but they're just the execution and the act of taking that first step is non-existence. But just do it. And I'm glad you've done what you've done, and I'm glad that you're doing this. And I believe that this will actually be pretty big. So.
I want to end with a quote that you shared with me years ago, and it's something that kind of lives rent free in my head. Day one or one day?
Yeah.
You decide.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. It's yeah, you got to start. Got to start somewhere, and it's just baby steps. It's the snowball effect is going to happen, but you got to wad that ball up and fucking chuck it downhill.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that, folks, brings us to the end, not just of this conversation, but of the Undrunken Podcast. But this isn't a goodbye to the undrunken way of living. It's simply me choosing to make space, to redirect energy it takes to create the show into something new. The hours spent booking interviews, editing, producing, they're not going to disappear. They're just being reinvested. Something bigger, even if I don't have all the details yet. So if you're feeling sad, you're not alone. I am too, and that's okay. This podcast isn't going anywhere. Every episode's going to stay live, still to be shared, revisited, used as a companion whenever someone is questioning their relationship with alcohol or just wants to connect. As my final gift to this community, I am hosting a Dry January group, a space for connection, curiosity, and support for anyone who wants to start the year with intention. After that, I hope to be sharing what'll be coming next. I hope you'll walk with me in that chapter too. If there's one thing I want you to take from Undrunken, it's this. You're allowed to turn off the roads you're done traveling. You're allowed to choose differently, and you don't need permission to move forward. Thank you for supporting me these last 2.5 years. Thank you for trusting me with your stories. Thank you for being part of this chapter. For the last time, thank you for listening to the Undrunken Podcast.